Snoqualmie Falls is situated in a small valley on the western border of the Cascade Mountains. The waterfront town of Seattle lay some 30 miles to the west. In the 1880s, Seattle counted 3,500 residents and was only the second most populated city in the Washington Territory, behind Walla Walla. But all that would change in a matter of years. As the United States entered its Gilded Age, the Northern Pacific spanned the continent, connecting to Seattle in 1884. Migrants flooded west, and the promise of a new innovation called electricity began to emerge. Powered by coal and steam, small power plants sprouted up throughout Seattle, with a singular purpose of providing electricity to major industries. Earlier, in 1879, a man known as the Wizard of Menlo Park had introduced a device that would usher in this modern age. Thomas Edison's incandescent light bulb proved to be such a sensation, he built his first factory to mass-produce his invention in 1882. That same year, a lumber mill in Tacoma used electric lights to operate throughout the day, and now into the night. While industries utilized this new source of power, the residents of Seattle and the Northwest still squinted through the night using candles or oil-burning lamps. Coal, kerosene, and even foul-smelling dogfish oil were the primary fuels of the day. Street lights were illuminated with coal gas, pumped through wood piping buried in the streets. All the options generated heat, smoke, and noxious odors, not to mention the risk of fire.
Most of America burned down at some point in the late 1800s. And that was because of the reliance of actual fire for doing work.
The solution to these frequent fires was brought to the Northwest by Edison representatives who fanned out across the United States like missionaries, bringing the message of electric lights. On March 22, 1886, Sidney Mitchell arranged an exhibition at Jackson Street near Commercial.
11 16-candle power lamps were stationed along the room, and when sufficient steam was accumulated, the dynamo was started, the lights turned on, and the room was immediately made brilliant with a clear white light. The company has orders for 400 lamps now, and it is expected that the demand will greatly increase as soon as the advantages of the light become apparent to the people. Seattle Post-Intelligencer.
Not everyone rejoiced at the innovation. Gas company employee Charles Powers sabotaged the electric generating dynamo, delaying this new form of illumination for months. Despite the setbacks, Edison formed the Seattle Electric Company with local businessmen and obtained a franchise from the city council to run wires along streets and alleyways. In these early days of electricity, it was clear not everyone had a firm grasp of its principles. In one editorial, a Seattle resident wrote,
"How foolish of these young men to build the generating station on the waterfront. If they had put it at the top of the hill, the electricity would run down the wires by gravity. Now they'll have to pump it."
The public's ignorance of this new technology was matched by its suspicions of its danger. Seattle's first electric streetcars, launched in March of 1889, worried many that the current would magnetize watches and lightning bolts would kill passengers and pedestrians. But 3 months later, in the summer heat of June 1889, public sentiment would change. A spilled glue pot ignited a fire in downtown Seattle. Fueled by kerosene lamps and bursting gas lines, the blaze skipped from building to building, destroying 64 acres of the waterfront city. Confidence in the relative safety of electricity grew, especially when locals witnessed streetcars emerging from the smoke and chaos with little more than blistered paint. By the end of the decade, more than 100 miles of streetcar lines traversed the city, making Seattle one of the most electrified cities in the nation. By this time, Edison had built 121 direct current power stations across the country. Edison's ability to promote this new technology was undeniable. But the problem with direct current was that it could not be transmitted further than a mile, requiring every neighborhood to have its own coal-burning steam power plant.